I told you today we are going to discuss about virtual memory. So, what is actually virtual memory? Virtual memory provides illusion to the programmer that a process whose size is larger than the size of main memory can also be executed. So, the main concept of virtual memory. So, actually, what is a main memory? So, we know in our computer, in mobile phone, there is a limited size of main memory. That is your RAM. Might have seen the computer whose RAM size is 4 GB, 6 GB, 8 GB, right? So actually, each computer having a very limited size of main memory. Now, and the hard disk. So your logical address space, this is nothing but our hard disk, and this is our the main memory. Main memory is what? Main memory is your RAM and the hard disk. As you know already, what is the use of RAM and what is the use of hard disk, right? We have seen the how the RAM is made of. We have seen dynamic RAM, right? And the cache memory is made of by the static RAM. So dynamic RAM. So until and unless there is a power supply is there, it preserve your data, right? As soon as the power cut, it lose your all data stored in a RAM, right? Or we know all this. But what is actually the main concept of virtual memory? So as per the definition, we'll see the definition. It provides illusion to the programmer. So virtual memory is providing illusion to the programmer. What kind of illusion? That the process whose size is larger than the size of main memory can also be executed. So for example, it is how it is providing illusion. For example, the one process is there whose to execute that process at least 8 GB size required, right? And your laptop having a size is only the 4 GB, right? Your laptop having size of 4 GB, but there is one process to execute that process, minimum 8 GB size required, right? So this is the condition. So actually this virtual memory provide the illusion to the programmer. Yes, like your program to execute your program 8 GB required. Okay, no issue. Our main memory can also be execute your 8 GB program even though your main memory size, or you can say the RAM size, having a only the 3 GB size, right? Even though your process require 8 GB and your RAM is only the 4 GB, but still you can execute your process into the main memory. This kind of illusion can be provided by the virtual memory. But how actually it provided the illusion? Like the user can execute respective process, even the process require more memory size available than your main memory size. Okay. So as here you can see this is a page table of process 1. This is a P1 means a page table for the process 1. These are the different process. Here you could say these are the page table of P1. This is the page table of P1, and here is the different frames are there. In a frames there are pages. These are the frames, and the frames having a different pages for the respective processes. Your whole process is divided into a pages. Like this is a P1 process, this is a P2 process, this is a P3 process. So this your process is divided into the pages, and your frame size and page size must be the same, so that your page can be loaded into the frame, right? So this frame size and this page size must be the same. Now There is a concept of roll in, roll out, or you can say swap in, swap out. What is a swap in, swap out? Swap in, swap out means if the CPU require a particular page, particular process page, we have to load that page into the main memory. So while you are loading this page, you can say it is a swap in, right? And from main memory to the logical address space or hard disk. What is this? This is a hard disk. So while you are moving your page from main memory to the hard disk, that time we can say it is a swap out or roll out. Okay. So swap in, swap out, or you can say it is a page replacement. It's a page replacement. So actually, there is a concept of locality of reference. What is the locality of reference? Locality of reference is used in a virtual memory. For example, suppose if your process, if your CPU want a page number 1, so what we will do, we will copy P0 as well as P2 in the main memory. Why? Because your process asks for the P1, but after a period of time, your process may ask P0 or P2. So that's why we copied their nearby pages also into the main memory, so that if it is asked again the another page, we can easily provide the page to the CPU, right? That's why near about pages also copy. So that concept you can say it is a locality of reference. So actually, what is the main purpose of virtual memory? The first purpose that we have discussed about the virtual memory is like our main memory size is less than the hard disk. As you know, our hard disk size is 1 terabyte and main memory RAM size is 4 GB. So here 1 TB and 4 GB. So you will find a big difference in between main memory and hard disk or logical address, right? But as we have discussed, to CPU to execute the process, the CPU take a data from the main memory so that the execution can we can match both the speed, CPU as well as main memory. Both are the faster. Your cache is more faster than main memory, right? So to match their speed, we have to copy respective required process pages into the main memory. If you are taking here, there is a big difference in between CPU speed and hard disk, right? It is a big difference. That's why what we have to do, we have to copy respective pages into the main memory. This is the first reason of virtual memory, that we have to copy the hard disk this required pages into the main memory frame. The second reason is that is we know today our computers are multi-program computer. Multiple program you can run at the same time, and more number of processor, uh, the more and more number of processes we can run into a main memory. Like here, P1, P2, P3, as number of processes are there, the multiple process we can run at the same time. How? Simply we will copy two required pages from the process 1, two required pages from the process 2, two required pages from the process 3. In this way, we can copy into the main memory and the CPU execute the respective process. Right. So mainly the two reasons of virtual memory is one, it provides an illusion to the programmer that process whose size is even larger than the size of main memory can also be executed. Even the process size is larger than main memory, still we can execute. And the second reason is that is even today's our computer is a multi-program computer, more and more number of processes you can brought into the main memory. Even the size is a more, but still the more number of processes you can brought into the main memory, right? Like you can call this process number P0, P1 from the P1, page number P0, P1 from the P3, P2 and P3 from the P2. Similarly, you can call this number of required pages from the respective process. Okay. So kindly acknowledge in chat box what are the two purposes of virtual memory. क्या purpose है virtual memory का? Kindly post into the chat box in short, in briefly. What is the purpose of virtual memory? Then we'll discuss how it works. Anyone, come on. You do not sit. I only otherwise I am keep talking and you are listening. It will not work. You cannot understand. Kindly do acknowledge what is the purpose of virtual memory. Yes, come on. Do acknowledge in chat box what is the first step. CPU ask for a page 1 from the process 1. This is the first step, right? CPU ask page 1 from the process 1. Then the CPU looking into the page table for the respective entry. What kind of entry? Like from the process 1, you want a page 1. But this entry is not available in a page table, right? For 1, no any kind of entry is not available. Here 0 indicates invalid. It means the entry is not available. Then second step. Second step is what? The control move from user to the OS. If it is not available, the control switch from user to the OS. So control switching is done here. Now what the OS will do? OS authenticate the user, right? Required process is from the correct user or not. So authentication is done and then OS search required page into the logical address space. Right? Search required page into the logical address space. Now what is the step number 4? Okay, explain this. Step number 4. What is the step number 4? In step number 3, we search the required process page into the hard disk or logical address space. Okay, and in step number 4, what we have to do? Come on. Step number 4, what we have to do? Simply we have to copy the required page into the main memory. Search for page number 1 available, then copy into the main memory that page. Okay, thank you, Snehal, for your acknowledgement. Rest of the other students, be active in the lecture. Okay, so fourth step, simply we have copied this required page into the frame, right? Page 1 of process 1. Now the CPU want this page 1 of process 1. So it may happen the CPU again and again want this address. So what we have to do? We have to write this address into the frame. So this 7. So frame 7 address is written here so that this location CPU can easily access this location. Okay. So this valid and invalid. So it is valid. Now this data point is there from the F7 at frame 7 the data is there. Required data is there. So it is valid. Okay. Then after fifth step, the next one is sixth step. So in sixth step, simply we will hand over required page data into the CPU. So P1 CPU want process P1 page 1. So required process 1 page 1 will be hand over to the CPU at the sixth step. Okay. So this is a very simple concept of virtual memory. Kindly okay, so remember this formula. We may solve problem based on this formula, effective memory access time. Hmm? So we'll start the next concept, that is a paging. Okay, paging. Now it is you can easily understand the concept of paging like a virtual memory. Here in the paging, what is a paging actually? Paging means a process divide into equally size and added into the memory. One process divide into the equal size and added into the memory. So here is your main memory. As we have seen in virtual memory, there is a RAM. So this is a main memory. And here to understand this paging concept, as per the definition, we are considering this process. Here the process size is what? 4 byte. The process size is a 4 byte. And what is a paging? A process divide into equally size. So this process size is 4 byte. So this process we divide into the equally size into the pages. Into pages. So page size must be 4b divided by 2. So it must be the 2 byte, right? So this 4 byte process is divided into 2 by 2 byte, right? 2 pages. It is divided into a 2 pages. Obviously, number how many pages required? 2. 4 byte divided by 2 byte is equal to 2. So 2 pages are required. So this is the page number 1, page number 2, 0 and 1, right? And again here you will find there is a numbering of 0, 1, 2, 3. What is this 0, 1, 2, 3? 0, 1, 2, 3 is nothing but the bytes. This nothing but the byte. Okay. So this first byte, second byte, third byte, fourth byte. Because for this process, 4 byte required. So each page there is a 2 byte and this is a byte numbering. Similarly, for example, there is another process whose size is 16 byte. So there is another process, this memory size is 16 byte. So this 16 byte, how we can divide this as per our definition, we have to divide this process into the equal size. And we have to add this process into equal size pages into the memory. So as we know in main memory, there is a frames. So in a frame, actually it is divided and the frame size and page size must be the same. So this 16 byte divided by 2 is equals to 8. So how many frames required? 8 frames required. So here you have to remember always your page or memory must start from the 0, right? So it started from the 0. So 0 to 7. So obviously how many frames are there? 8 frames are there. So this 16 byte divided by 2 is equal to 8 frames. So in 8 frame, this memory is divided, right? Each page having 2 bytes of memory. 0, 1, 2, 3. So 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte, 4 byte, right? So each page having 2 byte of memory. So 2 into 8, that is 16 byte. Okay. So did you understand what is paging? Kindly do acknowledge anyone. What is a paging? Page size should always be the same size of frame size must be the same. Your frame size and page size must be the same. Come on, what is the paging? Process divide into equal size and add it into a memory that pages. Good Snehal, read the dividing into part and add into memory. Actually, this is dividing into a equal part. Not only the two part, like here in the first process, the size is 4 bytes, so we have divided in two parts. But the next process size is 16 bytes, so we have divided into only the one part. Okay. Okay. So let us assume here this is the process P1 and these are the page numbers of process P1. Okay. So this is the process P1. This is the process P1, and so here actually we are assuming like, but considering this example, from the main memory, this lot is reserved for the another process. This lot is again reserved for the another process. Okay. This one is free. 4, 5 is free, and 6, 7 is reserved for the another process. And again 8, 9 is free. 10, 11 is again reserved for the another process. Okay. And this is the process P1, right? This process P1 is equally divided and having a 4 byte, right? And in the main memory, these are the two pages are available. These two pages are available. So what we can do, we can load these pages to the respective location. So here we have loaded this page, and this 2, 3 is we have loaded here at this location at 8 and 9, 4 and 5. We have loaded these 2 byte data here and next 2 byte data here. Okay. In this way we have loaded. Now CPU. Now CPU demand a byte or byte number 3, which is stored somewhere into the main memory. Now the CPU demand byte number 3 from the process 1. CPU wants byte number 3. So this byte number 3 CPU 1. And where is this? Where is this 3 in memory? Somewhere actually this byte number 3 is loaded. Right? This page or this byte is loaded into the main memory. But again it is the CPU don't know where it is. Right? So that time require a memory management unit. So the memory management unit, with this memory management unit, we have to map. We have to map this 3. Where is the 3 into the main memory? So obviously this 3 we have to map with the 9. So actually how actually we can map this 3 with the 9? This is another question, right? So for that purpose, we require a page table. So this CPU wants a byte number 3. So it contacted with the memory management unit, MMU, memory management unit, and memory management unit provides the byte number that is a 9. In this way, actually, the CPU will get the respective byte location, so that this respective byte will be loaded to the CPU or provided to the CPU, loaded from main memory to the CPU, right? So this information available into the page table. So this is a table, page table. So in page table, for example, there is this information is available, like process 1, the first byte is available at frame 2, and the second byte is available at frame 4. See here, at frame 2, the first byte is available, and at frame 4, the second byte is available. So in page table, there is this kind of information is available. So every process having a page table, every process having a page table. So this P1 process having this page table, and while you are loading this information into the main memory, obviously we have written into the page table, like the first 2 byte we have loaded at frame number 2, that's why F2, this information is available, and the second 2 byte, that is byte number 3 and 4, which is loaded into the frame number 4. So this F4, it is available. So page table having this information. Now, how actually CPU find out this 9? This is another question. How does CPU find out this 9? As we know, CPU works on only on the binary number 1 and 0, right? So the CPU always works on the logical address. CPU always works on logical address. Logical address. So as per the logical address, suppose here is the address. So this logical address is divided in 2 parts. The first one is that is a page number. Page number. And the second one is that is page offset. Page offset, or you can say the size of the page. Page offset. Or you can, that is the size of a page. Okay, so page number. So 0 and 1. So only the two numbers are there, 0 and 1. So obviously 1 bit is sufficient to represent 0 and 1. And each page having, there is a 2 byte of data. So again it is 0 and 1. So 1 bit is sufficient to represent 2 bits of data. 2 bits of data. So here this 1 bit is for the page number and another bit is for the page offset. So 1 is representing this page number, this is 1, and the page offset. Page offset means the size of a page. So 0 means this and 1 means this. Right? In this way actually it is mapping. So this, as per this logical address, we'll look into the page table, and in page table there is the information of F2 and F4, 0 and 1. So it is F2 and this is for F4. Okay. So as per this location, 1 means obviously it is F4, and in F4, F4, as we have discussed, it is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So again for 1 is for the second number. So this is F2 and here is F4, and in F4 that is the second number, it means a 3. So here it is a 9. So this 9 is loaded into the CPU by the logical address. But actually This is the logic. But actually this logical address, to represent this logical address, we needed a physical address. So that by the physical address, we can identify the particular location from the main memory. So logically, actually, we have seen how it works. But actually, how the physical address we can identify this physical address. So suppose, as we have seen, if there is a 2 bit of data, 0 and 1, we can represent by the 1 bit. Similarly, suppose there is 0 to 7, 0 to 7. So to represent 0, how many bits required? 0, 0, 0. And to represent 7, 1 plus 2, 3 plus 4, that is 7. So the 3 bits required to represent 7 and 0, 3 bits required to represent 0. So 0 to 7, to represent 0 to 7, how many bits required? 3 bits required. If there is, suppose if there is 8 is there, so how many bits required? 4 bits required. But for the 7, 3 bits required, right? So similarly, if it is a 16 byte, if it is 16 byte, then how many bits required? 4 bits required, right? So as we have seen, so here 7 frames are there, which is started from 0 to 7, and we have seen in the logical address there is a frame number and a frame size, right? So frame number is what? See here, 1, this frame number is 4, right? Frame number is 4. So we can write here frame number 4. Frame number 4. So for 4, how you can write 4 in binary? 0, 0, 1, right? 0, 0, 1. This, see the logical address. For the 4, it is 0, 0, 1. 1, 2, 4. So this is the 4. And the which byte of data? Second byte of data. So this is a, that's why it is 1, right? 1. Second byte of data. So see how we can map from the logical address to the physical address. For example, this is our physical address. To map the actual page number from the main memory. See what is the actual page number from the main memory? That is a 9. Now let's see here, you get the 9 or not. So what the number you got here? 1, 0, 0, 1. That is 1, 2, 4, 8. 8 plus 1. 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. 1, 2, 4, 8. 1 plus 8 is equal to 9. So in this way, actually, logical to the physical, perfectly we have mapped this 9 byte. And this 9th byte loaded or provided to the CPU as per the requirement of process 1, byte number 3, and this byte number 3 is loaded at the location of 9, and by the frame number and by the second byte we got this number 9. 1001. So 1001, that is 1 plus 8, that is 9. In this respect to page is loaded to the CPU. Similarly, you can check for this file. Similarly, you can check for this file. Okay. Take a screenshot of this image and you have to draw this image on your notebook. Actually, our lecture time is over. So we have to stop here. But take a screenshot of this image